Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you are watching this. Welcome back to Starkey Farmstead, friends and family of the internet. So, yesterday was April 1st, 2026, and we saw a spaceship, a rocket, heading to the moon, right? Well, to orbit the moon. Now, we have this rocket shooting up, shaped like a male body part, a phallus, named after a goddess of young girls heading into space. I mean, like, don't we all just believe that, right? 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 Maybe not. So, welcome back, friends and family of the internet. Welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. I do want to remind you guys, you better get your book, Growing Under a Poisoned Sky. Let me tell you something. I personally think when they do these rocket launches, that they're using it to disperse chemicals into the sky. That's one of the reasons they do it. NASA funnels tremendous amounts of money from hardworking American citizens. I don't know about you, but I filed my taxes and I owe both state and federal taxes this year. So I feel like I have a bit of a stake in this, right? I mean, it is my money that they're doing this with. So let's start here because this is very important and enough people are not talking about this. Artemis, right? In ancient Greek religion and mythology, Artemis was an ancient Greek goddess. You want to know what she was the goddess of? Hunting, wilderness, wild animals, transitions. She was the goddess of transitions. So, yesterday I did a soft entry into this topic, into the sex cult Satanist that created modern rocketry, Jack Parsons. I gently led you guys into this, right? As well as talking about what yesterday represented calendar wise as well as religiously. Guys, the goddess of transitions, nature, vegetation, childbirth, care of children, and chastity, right? Supposedly, she liked to roam forests attended by entourage of nymphs. Mm. She was the daughter of Zeus and the twin sister of Apollo. You literally cannot make this crap up. So, yesterday I was telling you guys, or a couple of days ago at least, that there are some things people just do not understand about the creation of America. America was founded by, I think, good hearted people in the sense that they wanted freedom of religion. But how our actual federal government was set up was by Freemasons, including our Constitution. Okay. Once you understand this, this makes a little bit more sense. There is actually this belief inside of occult religions that George Washington is going to be raised from the dead or reincarnated. And it's going to happen underneath this painting of none other than Apollo. Then, when you look at Donald Trump and how his apartment where he lives is decorated all in gold with Apollo and all of that, it just begins to make a lot more sense. All right. Now, Artemis preferred to remain an unmarried maiden, and she was one of three Greek goddesses over whom Aphrodite had no power. All right. So often she is depicted as the hunting goddess. And the hunter was said to have seen her bathing naked, whereupon she transformed him into a deer. And then he was devoured by his own hunting dogs. It's twisted, man. All right. So the name Artemis remains uncertain, though some origins have proposed that it indicates a pre Greek origin. Now, if you know anything about the Bible, it was all of the New Testament was written in an ancient form of Greek. Okay. So this goes way, way back, right? It's like pre-Greek is like really far back. That you're talking thousands of years. So they're saying it comes all the way back to Mycenaean Greek, which is the earliest attested form of Greek language spoken in Crete. They're talking the 14th century before Christ. That's how old it is. So really don't know what this name even means. But some say the word goes to butcher. It means like to butcher, right? Unmoved, calm, stable, firm. And this is really kind of gross right here. Homer calls Artemis the mistress of animals. Yeah. And that she was naturally conceived with the shape of a bear. So a shapeshifter. All right. So you can see how all that kind of goes back and forth. But I just wanted to share that with you why it naming this spaceship, because she's also like the huntress of the moon, the goddess of the moon, and they're supposed to be going around the moon, right? It's all very occult. You have got to hear what these astronauts actually said before they went up in the rocket. Listen to what he actually admits. This is crazy. I want to go back.
Victor, Christina, Jeremy, we're going to the moon. When we get off the planet, we might come right back home. We might spend 3 or 4 days around Earth. We might go to the moon. That's where we want to go, but it is a test mission.
The 45 minutes that we're closest to the lunar surface are also going to be out of contact. We are going to have an LOS in NASA terms, a loss of signal. And while we cannot talk to the planet and our friends that are even in space on the International Space Station, I would love it if the entire world, those 8 billion people Jeremy mentioned, could come together and just, be hoping and praying for us to get that acquisition of signal and be back in touch with everybody.
I mean, let's be honest. I can't get a good signal in my house, but okay. I mean, whatever,
We might find nothing, but it's definitely worth looking. And now I'm totally bought in. And we're going to be like, I hope we don't make something up.
I hope we don't make something up.
When you see numbers like Mach 39 at entry, when you see numbers like 38,000 miles, 250,000 miles, 6 million pounds on the pad, those are just insane numbers. Like, those are just not numbers that humans generally think about.
Oh my God! Wow!
We were flying in a sim yesterday and watching the miles click down. What did we say? We were doing like 5 or 7 miles.
7 miles a second.
Coming back to Earth. So these numbers just you don't even comprehend. This is the first time we're going to send humans to the moon.
This is the first time we are going to send humans to the moon. Now, I know Glenn Beck did a video yesterday. I don't watch him. He's a Latter-day Saints. He's a Mormon, and they believe they can be gods and have their own planets. Yes, they do. Yes, they do believe that. And they also are one of the biggest groups involved in NASA because Freemasons created the religion of Mormons. I mean, that is the truth. So you got a lot of Freemasons inside of NASA doing this occult crap because guys, science is their God. Lying is what they do because, Satan can only do 3 things. He can kill, he can steal, and he can destroy. Anything that is biblical, Satan is the opposite of that. So where you and I believe speaking in truth, because God says, you have to worship in truth and in spirit. Satan is the opposite. This is worship to these people. Lying, April Fool's jokes. I told y'all yesterday, the spiritual connotation behind 8 million people all 8 billion pranking and lying at the same time was tremendous in the spiritual high places.
What did you say? And when I look at the future, when we talk about what is our legacy, I want to look 100 or 200 years in the future. This is where I thought this might land wrong. I hope we're forgotten.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
If we are forgotten, then Artemis has been successful. We have humans on Mars. We have humans out on the moons of Saturn. We are expanding in the solar system. We have... Maybe we've invented something that we never even dreamed of, and maybe we inspired some kids somewhere, and maybe that's our footnote. We inspired Susie or Johnny to do what they did. That would be magical. There are stressful moments and there are fun moments. There's a lot of laughter. And when you laugh in space to the point where you cry tears of joy, they just stick right in your eyeballs. And I always thought that was hilarious.
What an idiot! Oh, what a loser!
I hope that's what we feel when we splash down on Artemis 2. And that will be a magical, I keep saying magical. That'll be a great moment.
Magic.
I keep saying magical. You think? You think you just keep letting it slip out of there? All right, let's take a little peek at you.
Here we go. Here comes a spectacle. NASA, show us why you're taking all of our money. Oh, look at that. That looks so cool. This guy's really excited. That's how you do it. Boom. Pew, pew. And then watch. I'd be willing to bet that this thing's not going to just go straight up in the air, perpendicular to the Earth. Why would it do that? You know, if you're trying to leave the atmosphere and you have to go 17,500 miles an hour to break through our atmosphere, which is 6 times faster than a high-velocity bullet, wouldn't you just go straight up in the... Oh, wait. CGI. Look at that. It looks like when Jeff Bezos didn't send Katy Perry to space in April of 2025. I think that was New Shepard or Blue Origin or something like that. I could be wrong. Hold on. Isn't up towards 12 o'clock? Why is it going towards like 4 o'clock right now? Ah, there might be a firmament above us. Oh, now it's almost going back down to Earth. This is so stupid. Anybody that believes that they are actually sending somebody out to outer space right now in a rocket to prove to you why they're taking over 20 million, 60 million, I don't even know what the number is, every single day in taxes. Look at this. That is CGI, folks. It's 2026. We have 8K cameras. And you know what's funny? They tell us that they can measure trillions of light years away. We can't even get a good image of a rocket. Oh. Having a little technical difficulties here in 2026. Don't worry, guys. We're going to delete all the footage once we get back. And look at this. It's 2026. What is this nonsense? And why is it doing a parabolic curve? Like the little spaceship that goes over top of the Disney logo? Oh, it looks like it's going down. How come the rockets never go perpendicular to Earth? Now look at this. There's no wind blowing by, no nothing. Look at this. They say that they can measure trillions of light years away, and this is the best image we can get of it in 2026. I cannot believe that they are doing this. This is a mockery of the public. Look at that. Oh, that's what they're seeing? Sure. Get them, NASA. Get them. Tomorrow they're going to take another $30 million in our taxes. This is like from 1970. Let's go ahead and just add that in there to make fun of everybody. Somebody's got a gun targeting this thing.
By the way, Miss Jill White, your gift came in. She sent me some snacks for my detox, you guys. It was so sweet. So sweet. Okay, so this is from a plane in Florida.
Oh my gosh! And they are out of their minds right now. It's Yay! They thought all
I mean, it does not look like it's going up.
Oh my gosh! And they are out of their minds right now.
Just saying. Let's see it again. This is all from airplanes that are going over Florida when this happens. Hey, it looks like it's going up there. Right? It looks like it's going straight up. Like that's what I would expect. A rocket go now. Look at it. Where is it going? I know somebody's going to say, "Oh, it's going to get and then it's going to go around the earth and then it's going to slingshot to the moon." Samantha, I know I have all that for you guys. I'm going to show you. I am going to show you. I don't know if she cusses or not, but I want to hear.
Sitting out here saying you going back to the moon. Girl, when'd you go the first time? And yes, sugar tits, I am one of those people that believe that we never went to the moon because I've done my research and it's out there. The evidence is out there. We never went to the moon, just like Katy Perry was never an astronaut because she never left here. And another thing, I went and looked at y'all's mission, what your path was going to be. Y'all ain't even landed on the daggum moon. You're doing a drive-by. It's like having a tour bus that's going to go by the moon and say, if you look out the window to your right, there's the moon that we never landed on. But hey, what's one more distraction?
Right? And the shape of the mission is this. Look at how demonic this is. That is the infinity sign, friends and family. Okay? This is what they're doing. This reminds me of, in the 70s and 80s growing up, I just liked boys' toys better than girl toys. I really liked the little tracks for the little cars, and then you could put the tracks together and it would go down and shh. That's what this looks like to me. Like some overgrown kid had way too much time and said, hey, let's make an infinity sign and make people okay, so this is 1969 versus 2026.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
How slow it's going.
Tower cleared.
We got a roll program. The alarm.
10, 9, 8, 7. RS-25 engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis 2 now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Good roll pitch.
11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start.
I'm just saying, there's some things about the shape of the ship too. I just watch this. Look at why does this look like that would be material? Look at this, guys. Now, I'm not a rocket person. I know that there are some soft materials that are like flame impenetrable. Like you could take a blowtorch to it. It is not burning. So they do have that type of material. But isn't this supposed to go to space? And I would think because of the crushing force of the void of outer space, that wouldn't work. But I'm just drinking my hot caffeinated beverage, Mormons. I don't know. I'm just saying it just looks a little. I'm just saying.
Oh, the moon! You guys, I will have to tell you, look at the moon. That's amazing.
Yeah. So if we could see these ladies in space, then why aren't we going to have contact with the Artemis people? And this guy, I don't know who this is, Eric Daltrey. He just, my God, I thought I pimped hard for Trump, but he goes every day, President Trump saving the world. President Trump stopped taxes. President Trump, President. I'm like, Lord, dude, like, how much are you getting paid? But let's hear what this has to say, because I haven't looked at this yet.
Something like that in a long time. Since, the second to last shuttle flight I was on it.
Yeah.
But to be here at this moment, sending three U.S. astronauts and a Canadian to the other side of the moon is just so exciting. Great day for our country.
Scott, I didn't fully appreciate how much we would feel. We were trying to describe what being inside the capsule is like. But even over here, a few miles away from the launch pad, your body shakes, the noise is overwhelming, and it's so bright, the flames, the exhaust coming from those engines, it's like the sun. It's hard to look at.
Yeah, it's physically very impressive, but also emotionally impressive to have, 4 people, 3 Americans.
Yeah, emotionally. Mm-hmm. All right. So people are saying that there was some kind of a fast moving object that passed behind distant structures mid shot. All right. So I just want to see what you guys think. I haven't looked at this one either. Oh, I see it. You see it? Oh, okay. That's kind of cool. Y'all saw it? It went real fast. See, there it goes. They're going to slow it down.
A lot more radiation than what we experience here on Earth. We're protected
There it
by our
goes.
atmosphere and by the magnetosphere.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
This is how they claim they get into outer space, is these rockets. Their rockets never go straight up. Every single rocket launch from a government space agency, you'll notice, follows a parabolic curve. It goes up, it reaches a peak, but what they do is as the rocket starts coming back down, they make sure that it goes down over the ocean, out of the way of any curious observers. Anyone can see it coming back down to Earth, asks, hey, how come the rocket's not going up anymore? Well, it's going around the curvature of the Earth, is what they tell us. So every single rocket, the reason that it follows a parabolic curve, they say, is because it's going around the curvature of the Earth. The real reason is they can't get up any higher than that.
Exactly.
The only thing that's been to space is your imagination.
They tell us that the Earth is a sphere. They show us pictures of a sphere, of a circle. It's a perfect circle. And then they come out and they say, well, it's actually an oblate spheroid. Oh, what's that? Well, it's a sphere that's flattened at both poles, so it's more of an oval shape. Actually,
Okay, so this is actually what Sam believes right here. Guys, I'm sorry. I think the same people that put a textbook picture of a basketball and said this is your planet also put out a picture of the earth with an ice ring around it being completely utterly flat. Neither of those are correct. They're both just psychological warfare to keep you from actually knowing the truth. Okay?
bulges out south of the equator, as well as being flattened at the poles. So it's more pear-shaped.
So it's not actually a sphere. It's oblate. And officially it's an oblate spheroid. That's what we call it. But not only that, it's slightly wider below the equator than above the equator.
A little chubbier.
A little chubbier. Yeah. Chubby's a good word. It's like pear-shaped.
So now it's pear-shaped. So why are all of these official NASA photos and videos showing perfect spheres when it's actually an oblate spheroid or a pear-shaped spheroid? They can't get their story straight. The reason they keep changing it is that to fit the model, they have to change the shape of the Earth. South of the equator is larger than north of the equator because lines of longitude that just extend outwards, they don't contract back. So they concede that in their pear model. They say, well, the side bulges out south of the equator. It's bigger south of the equator. Yeah, it is, because it's flat. But instead of admitting that, they just...
I don't believe it's completely flat either. And let me make this very clear before I start getting all the, you need to research it. It does not matter. In the scheme of what we are dealing with in this world right now, I don't care what shape the earth is. I mean, seriously, folks, we are fixing to deal with the Antichrist. The Antichrist system is being put into place right now, and we have Christians getting in a pissing match over the shape of the earth. Do you know how childish that is? I mean, that's the mentality of a kid, not of an adult. Any true born-again Christian, spirit-filled, personally doesn't care about the shape of the earth because we know where our salvation lies. And it is like on the least of important topics we need to be talking about. The Bible says there is a firmament above us, and there is. It is so intense that they have shot nuclear weapons at that sucker, and they can't crack the dome. It drives them insane. It drives them insane because they want to get out of here. And they think if they can get through the firmament, they can be a god, right? It's the whole basis of the Mormon religion and all that other weird esoteric crap. But if you're getting in arguments with strangers on the internet over the shape of the earth, I'm going to tell you to grow up. Grow up. With everything that we have going on right now in the world, why would the Church of Jesus be shattered over a shape of a stupid planet? Come on, Jesus. I mean, guys, come on.
The design of nominal and contingency missions is the job of the Mission Planning and Analysis Division, MPA. The accomplishment of this task. The design of nominal and contingency missions is the job of the Mission Planning.
They just cut the light off during the thing. That's why he's laughing. We missed it.
NASA, you've done it again. Oh my God.
Again.
Bro, if you are a grown human and you think this is real, look at this thing. I'm triggered, hilariously triggered. Yes, I cussed, and yes, I'm loud. I don't care, because look at what they're telling people this is, bro. This is CGI. Computer-generated images. Just look at the rocket launch. Bro, it goes in a curve. Look at the Disney logo. It's shooting downward. It breaks apart. It's not zoomed in on. And they're showing you this. People are believing that this is a real spacecraft. Bro, please. Please tell me human beings aren't believing in this. I've seen better graphics on a cartoon.
I have 2 video
Bro,
games.
look at this thing sped up and moving around. They're actually telling people this is a spacecraft. What's recording this? You guys, please wake up.
He's got. Wait a second. Oh my gosh. He just blew my mind. What's recording it? If that's the actual spaceship, which looks like a bad graphic in a cheaply made like video game, if that's where's the camera? How's the camera? I know somebody's gonna say it's a satellite. It's one of Elon's satellites. Nah.
The government gave $19.5 billion to Hollywood. I think we'd all be pretty upset by that. There is a growing body of evidence that the International Space Station is not in outer space, but it's being filmed in a desalinated pool down here on Earth, and it's being falsely misrepresented. Started with this phenomenon known as bubbles in space. If you search for it, you'll see many of these so-called spacewalks, which have been falsely misrepresented as live, as has been exposed many times on Facebook when they do their live ISS feeds. Bubbles out in space. Well, there's not supposed to be water up there. It is known that the astronauts do train in these big underwater tanks. And so this body of evidence, and it's not just bubbles in space, there are harnesses or green screens, evidence of flights that are actually on parabolic flights, not in space. And if this is true, it's a big deal. Imagine if the federal government gave $19.5 billion to Hollywood.
Yeah, we'd all be upset, but that's how NASA's just it's a money laundering. So this is how NASA started, guys. Candace brought this up, but I did too. So
it's outside of Caltech. There is a former river channel called Arroyo Seco. It is flanked on both sides by rock, one of which is called Devil's Gate, thanks to its shape of a horned head. Some locals believed the mouth of Arroyo Seco was a portal to other dimensions. But for Parsons, the area had 2 uses. He tested rockets there, but years later, he would return to conduct ceremonies and rituals with other occultists in the same spot. By golly, guys, what then happens is that on Halloween of all nights in 1936, they have a scientific breakthrough after they accidentally set fire to the oxygen line of their small rocket motor. And although it didn't launch, Melita and his team were enthused. They said this test was successful. He wrote to his parents, and NASA would later consider that experiment, which happened again on Halloween, to be the first rocket experiment of what would later become the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. So,
the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. It's so deep when you get into it. Right? Human life is here, animal life, plant life, no life, angelic life, divine. They're just trying to get to God, friends. They really believe they can do it.
Day even has some really interesting rituals associated with it when it does certain launches at Cape Canaveral. Maybe not all of them, but the one that Tyler was involved with, they had images of Roman gods and goddesses put on the rockets. They would use Latin on their patches. You know,
do you guys remember when I showed you the computer chips with the sigils? Yeah.
You know, their mission patches, and they would also have specific rituals that they would do, sometimes involving U.S. presidents. They would position the presidents at a certain point where astronomical events, would happen. And this, so
like
Tyler had,
like the president of the United States.
Yes, the president of the United States. They didn't know what they were doing. They were just being positioned there. So, they're like, stand here, Mr. Obama or President Obama. And he would stand there with his wife and look this direction. It was part of the whole thing. And there were photos. He has photos of all of that.
And I believe it because I told you guys, it started with the presidents. They've all been Freemasons. If you do your deep dive work, you're going to see these Greek gods and goddesses all over Washington, D.C., and they are trying to bring forth a dark trinity, the counterfeit of the divine trinity. In fact, Jack Parsons, the father and inventor of modern rocketry, he actually claimed they brought forth a moon child during these sexual cult seances. So let's see if I can get to that one, guys, real quick.
That he was actually in touch with angelic beings, and he talks about it and writes about it, and that these beings are in constant contact with us if we're able to receive their knowledge.
Is it sort of a Gnostic religious initiation process?
So what I found was that when Tyler would do these launches, there would be a lot type of religion that's happening. So Tchaikovsky believed.
Is there anything more kind of mystical or strange than meets the eye when it comes to the history of U.S. rocketry?
Sure. Look at Launch Pad 33. I mean, everything is Masonic. Look at the Apollo missions. These are all the zodiac signs, right? You have Apollo, and you have the Juno missions, and you have all these, Mercury missions, and there's a lot of occult history in NASA.
As Lou mentions here, even the conventional American space program, NASA, the Saturn and Apollo programs, have far more esoteric roots than meet the eye. Some of the top American astronauts were Freemasons. Buzz Aldrin, Gordon Cooper, Don F. Eisel, Gus Grissom, James Irwin, and Edgar Mitchell were all Freemasons. Another famed astronaut of the highest 33rd Masonic rank was the famous John Glenn, who urged Harry Reid to investigate UFOs as part of OSAP. Buzz Aldrin even established a Masonic lodge on the moon called Tranquility Lodge 2000, chartered by the Grand Lodge of Texas, and brought a Freemasonic Scottish Rite flag to the moon to consecrate the whole thing.
Do you think that somehow made the program more effective, or?
Well, I mean, look, whether it did or not, I mean, if people have a belief in something, you know, there's that old saying, there's no such thing as an atheist in a foxhole.
Mm-hmm.
The idea or notion that the supernatural can assist you is no different than back the Romans carrying talismans into combat or conferring with the oracles of Delphi before a major battle, a significant event, right?
And what about the start of the American space program? Jack Parsons, the godfather of American rocketry and founder of Jet Propulsion Laboratories, would often recite occultist Aleister Crowley's version of the hymn to Pan before every rocket test.
3, 2, 1.
Where loud waves are done.
He also claimed to have encountered a blonde-haired alien following a ritual in the Mojave Desert in 1948.
Hi there. Are you interested in the White House?
And this is the thing. You know, you've got so many people actually believing in aliens now. There are no aliens. Guys, they're fallen angels. Just so you know, the serpent didn't stop at Eden. Right? It did not. NASA in Hebrew means to deceive. Beguiled, to seize, to utterly forget, greatly deceived.
Les images sont des CGI, il n'y a plus de débat là-dessus. Non mais regardez les graphismes. Mais le
I mean, what did that look like to you?
plus fabuleux, ça reste le moment où les actrices ouvrent la fausse porte trop tôt. On leur dit de vite la refermer. Et Bezos qui débarque avec son levier en métal.
Here goes Jeff Bezos to open the hatch.
Pour faire semblant d'ouvrir une trappe déjà ouverte. C'est une farce. Mais avant tout, c'est un rituel. Elles partent dans un...
That's right. It is a ritual. They go up in something that looks like a male penis, a phallus.
phallus, et reviennent dans un utérus.
And they drop back out of the sky in something that looks like a uterus.
L'œuf cosmique.
The cosmic egg.
C'est pas un vol, c'est une renaissance. Comme la
It's not a flight, it's a rebirth.
tournée de Beyoncé. Parce que les célébrités féministes sont là pour célébrer la nouvelle race androgyne.
Yep, the
Une
androgynous race.
ascension artificielle, suivie d'un retour dans l'utérus technologique. Parce que dans l'occultisme, tout est inversé.
So I feel really connected to that strong, divine feminine, right?
To that Shekinah glory. I can't believe she didn't say Yeshua at the same time.
Now.
Le féminin sacré est remplacé par une figure synthétique, androgyne, robotique. Tout ce qu'on voit dans la culture pop, the highest high.
It is the highest high.
Katy Perry fait pas référence à l'espace. C'est le climax rituel. Une offrande pour leur dieu synthétique. Regardez leur patch. Un Baphomet inversé. Tout est codé. Et qui a lancé ce cirque? Jack Parsons, scientifique et sataniste.
Yeah.
C'est lui qui a donné la forme phallique aux fusées modernes. Vous n'irez jamais dans l'espace, mais vous irez forniquer dans une prison digitale.
Deep. Here we go. This one's so interesting.
This is the story of the founder of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, as well as the founder of Scientology, and a secret ritual that was performed in the desert one fateful night in 1946, where a portal was opened up. This is the true story of the infamous Babalon Working ritual. We're about to show you how dark our world really is. In the vast spectrum of 20th century occult practices, few have grabbed as much attention and controversy as the Babalon Working ritual, orchestrated by the enigmatic figures of Jack Parsons, a brilliant rocket scientist, the co-founder of the JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and L. Ron Hubbard, the founder of Scientology. This series of rituals sought to manifest the Thelemic goddess Babylon and usher in a new era of human consciousness. But what was the Babalon Working ritual, and what were the implications of this, and what was the true nature of this ritual? What this ritual did was it shows us that there is a convergence of science and occultism that most people never heard about. And to fully grasp the significance of the Babalon Working, Aleister Crowley, the most evil man alive at the time, called himself the Beast 666. He was a British occultist and dark magician. He founded the religious movement of Thelema in the early 20th century. Central to Thelemic cosmology is the figure of Babylon, a goddess figure embodying the liberating and transformative forces of the divine feminine. In Crowley's vision, Babylon would play a pivotal role in the forthcoming Aeon of Horus, a new era of human evolution and spiritual emancipation. Jack Parsons was an ardent follower of Aleister Crowley and his teachings, and he believed himself to be a key agent in this coming transformation. While many knew Parsons for his groundbreaking work in rocketry, fewer were aware of his deep engagement with the occult. In early 1946, Jack Parsons was joined by L. Ron Hubbard, an aspiring writer who would later achieve fame, or infamy, as the founder of Scientology. Two of them embarked on the Babalon Working ritual. It was a series of rituals that was designed to incarnate the spirit of Babylon into human form, ultimately aiming to birth the so-called Moon Child, a magical child that would herald in a new dawn of humanity.
You've looked into the satanic side of the occult, correct?
They practice satanic worship.
She said he was conceived out of a nightmare during some satanic cult ritual.
Drawing from a combination of Thelemic rites, Enochian magic, and their own incantations, Parsons and Hubbard conducted this ritual over several weeks. They believe their efforts bore fruit when Parsons met and became involved with an artist named Marjorie Cameron, whom he considered the earthly embodiment of Babylon.
There was an event that took place back in the late 40s known as the Babalon Working ritual. Now, this was a ritual that was carried out by Jack Parsons, JPL. You know, people will even to this day say that JPL stands for Jack Parsons Laboratories, but on paper it's Jet Propulsion Laboratories. JPL is major. It's a historic, so much surrounding this, so much history here. Jack Parsons was not professionally trained, yet he was tapping into high technology and building rockets. How do you do that without any type of formal training? There were no rocket programs in America before Jack Parsons. This is paramount to understand. This guy was tapping into, theosophy, Thelema, the religion of Aleister Crowley. He was a disciple of Aleister Crowley, and he was working with L. Ron Hubbard, who was the founder of Scientology. Interestingly, not only did L. Ron Hubbard start Scientology, but he was a science fiction writer. The movie Battlefield Earth with John Travolta, well, that was written by L. Ron Hubbard. Interestingly, also, John Travolta is a Scientologist, right? Now, I've mentioned this because this is a man who writes science fiction, yet he started a religion based on science fiction. There has to be something in there where he's getting these clues and these ideas. He's getting these from another realm.
From that point, they ripped a hole open in space-time. And from that point afterwards, you had, regardless of what Parsons actually successfully completed during that with the Whore of Babylon and different things. After that, you had the Roswell incident, you had the Kenneth Arnold sightings, you had in 53 there was the swarm of UFOs that flew over the White House. And so there's this unleashing of supernatural activity that took place after that ritual was performed.
Babalon Working was successful according to Jack Parsons. Matter of fact, Parsons said in his Antichrist Manifesto that they were successful and that a child was conceived in that act, and that there was a spirit known as Hilarion. The Whore of Babylon was what they were trying to bring about. They believed what we believe, and that America was.
Now, see, I don't believe that. I believe there's a reason America is not mentioned in the Bible, you guys, especially when you're looking at like end time prophecy. America's not there for a reason. We were created as a nation to bring a new world order in. That is why you have the symbology in Washington, D.C. You have the symbology on money. The Bible's very clear. The Whore of Babylon is what the city that killed the prophets, the city that crucified Jesus Christ. It is Jerusalem. That's why it's so important to have Christians basically claiming to be Judeo-Christian, claiming support and siding with Israel. It's why every president signs the Tikkun Olam agreement, which I'll put that video here. Let me make myself a note. So you guys can go watch that, because all of that plays into this biblically, spiritually. It's hard because a lot of these people that dig into the occult, they're right on about the occult, but they get biblical stuff so messed up because they put their energy into searching out the darkness. They miss the bigger picture. Jesus, like they just miss it.
Was the final Babylon. Like this was the revived Babylon. They believed it and they were occultists. You know, we're Christians and we believe it. There's evidence to back this up. But yes, let's backtrack just for a second. What happened was they opened up this portal. They created a rift and entities began to come through. Not just this Whore of Babylon being birthed, but other entities, because people all over the place started having paranormal encounters. And
CERN, you know, they have done it with CERN. And here, I don't know when they're supposed to do it. They're supposed to take dark matter and do some kind of crazy experiment with dark matter. I mean, like, what can go wrong, right?
they began to report this to law enforcement, report this to the FBI, report this to whatever agency they can get in touch with. And so the federal agencies said, we've got to come up with an answer for this. You know, we were not prepared for any of this. There's UFO activity. There's talk of entities and demons and winged creatures and just all kinds of weird, I mean, just paranormal demonic activity following this ritual that Jack Parsons said finally worked. They did the ritual for a couple years. It finally worked, finally stuck. And that's what a scientist does. A scientist is going to work at something. He's going to work at the hypothesis until it's proven true or false.
Despite their apparent success, the partnership between Parsons and Hubbard soon soured.
And you have to remember, like Carl Schwab and the World Economic Forum have been talking about the fourth industrial revolution. And then you go look at the Kabbalah manuscripts, and it says, like in 1870, that the world was now ready to do the fourth industrial revolution, right? They've been controlling this timeline for thousands of years. That's where great resets come, right? A nation begins, it prospers, and then it peaks and it goes down. Well, what year are we in? 250th year of America. We're set for a great reset.
With Hubbard absconding with a boat and funds they had invested together, Parsons would face many professional and personal setbacks before his untimely death in a laboratory explosion in 1952, where he blew himself to smithereens. The ritual also underscored the blurred boundaries between science, religion, and magic. In the mid-20th century, when many top scientists were involved with the occult, both Parsons and Hubbard each influenced each other in their respective fields. They were deeply enmeshed in occult practices, satanic rituals. This reflected a broader societal fascination at the time with the unknown. Aleister Crowley was the foundational figure of Thelema and a significant influence on Parsons, and he once drew a being that he made contact with during a ritual that looks exactly like what we see as gray aliens. They're evil beings that are manifested through satanic rituals. Just look at the picture. It's exactly like a modern-day gray alien. Here's the thing, everybody. Magic rituals, satanic and occult practices, like those of Crowley and Parsons, serve as a bridge between dimensions or realities, possibly connecting the extraterrestrial realms, aka the interdimensional realms, with ours. It opens portals and allows things to come through. Government testing, paranormal activity, interdimensional communications, you name it. Perhaps it's all connected to rituals.
It is. And then you look at Donald Trump's uncle, part of the FBI. Tesla dies. They go in to his New York apartment. They take all of his information, right? And then you look back. I've done plenty of videos over the past 18 months, just scroll through, about how the CIA has worked with remote viewers. Kim Clement was one of those. Absolutely. I think that there are so many controlled opposition people out there that it's mind blowing.
NASA, along with the high religious priests of scientism, are obsessed with the number 666. So let's start with the so-called facts we're taught in school. We're told the Earth is orbiting around the Sun and moving at 66,600 miles per hour. That is the Earth's orbital speed around the Sun. Alright, well, like always, it's just a coincidence. Now, Earth's axial tilt is 23.4, but when you subtract it from 90-degree angle, a right angle, you get 66.6. Again, next up is curvature per mile drop. Now, according to the Pythagorean theorem, each mile is an 8-inch drop. 8 inches converted to feet is 0.66667 feet.
And I told you guys how important the Pythagorean theory is to Freemasons in a video just the other day. It is why it's so important, regardless if you like my thumbnail or my title, you watch them all and watch them all the way through, because I am building, it's called scaffolding. I am building your knowledge from the bottom. When did all of my awakening begin? Well, it began with Maui, right? Geoengineering. I had no idea that stuff was happening. I didn't know we had a weapon, a directed energy weapon. I had no idea. I had no idea. But from there, you see me struggle with concepts of like Donald Trump. And then you see the true spiritual awakening after the Charlie Kirk assassination in September. That was my full, both feet on the ground. Oh my Lord, everything is a lie. But I say that in reality, everything isn't a lie. It's just, they tell you 90% truth, but the 10% is staggering. Guys, it's staggering.
If you take a look at the Antarctic and Arctic circles, it is 66.6 degrees north and 66.6 degrees south. Let's direct your attention to go over the diameter of the moon. It is 2,160 miles, supposedly. But if you do 6 times 6 times 60, it equals 2,160. And if you thought we were done, don't worry, there's plenty more. Speed of sound in knots equals 666 knots. Earth's circumference in nautical miles, 21,600 miles. Again, you get 600 times 6 times 6. How far is Mars from the Sun? 1.666 astronomical units. From Mercury, the Sun appears to be 6.66 times brighter. And you can't forget that time the astronaut, or Peggy Whitson, spent 666 days in space.
By the time she lands in September, her tally will be 666 days in space. 666 days.
Of course, they soon realized that was a bit too reckless and obvious on their part, and changed it officially the next day. Now, the gravity theory was fabricated by Isaac Newton in the year 1666. And what's the story you believe? An apple fell on his head? Yeah, I'm sure there's nothing occult about that. This isn't just a few examples. We're talking hundreds of units of measurements with 666 in them. Like, what are the odds? Or should I say, how gullible does one have to be to actually buy that? In case you haven't realized, our entire reality is infiltrated with satanic numerology and symbolism. The Washington Monument is 66,660 inches tall, with the parameter being 666 inches. You can't make this shit up. And then you go into all these brands and company logos, right, that have the 666 in everything they do. Taco Bell has 666 in their logo. I think we all know enough about Disney. And then we have these fake Monster energy drinks, right? The claw, the 666 in Hebrew numericals. And then it's the same thing with Volkswagen logo and so on. It's pretty interesting, right? It's almost like a lot of these major corporations won't buy or sell unless they have the mark of the beast, the 666, on their logo. Now, where's that from again? Revelation 13:16. He required everyone, great and small, rich and poor, slave and free, to be given a mark on the right hand or on the forehead. And no one could buy or sell anything without the mark, which was either the name of the beast or the number representing his name. His number is 666. It is all connected, folks. You are living in a satanic system. The nihilism, the heliocentric model, the NASA deception, the evolution theory, this entire age of degeneracy. None of it is random. It is strategic mind control. From birth, you're groomed to worship science as your god, to believe that you're a random accident on a spinning water ball with no divine inherent purpose, and that you're the descendant of monkeys, and then you end up trusting the very agencies that mock you. You've been lied to about who and where you are. We are the center of God's divine creation, and they spend billions of dollars each and every year to hide that from you. You were placed here to do more than just consume, chase pleasure, and work a slave job for 40 plus years to then quietly die in debt. You can believe this is all just coincidence and continue walking in your slumber like the rest of the world. Or you can wake up and start asking why everything from NASA to Nickelodeon is soaked in satanic numerology. Your call.
It's funny.
This is the first time we're going to send humans to the moon, and we're going to have humans in low Earth orbit. That is awesome. Like,
Here I come.
Oh,
here.
Wait, hold up. What was that? One more time?
this is the first time we're going to send humans to the moon, and we're going to have humans in low Earth orbit. That is awesome. Like,
I thought we'd done this before with technology that was less powerful than what we carry in our pockets all the time. You're telling me, no? Wait, this first time. This is the first time. But you've been gaslighting us for years, telling us that we're crazy for saying you didn't do that. This reminds me of something. Oh, what was it?
The scariest moment of the journey.
Scariest. It didn't happen. It could have been scary. Certainly.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
When you said that just now, did it sound stupid to you?
Kind of. Yeah, that. Maybe not a joke.
That was good. That was good. This one's good too.
Who are going to be fooled on April Fool's Day. The so-called Artemis mission from NASA is set to be launched in 4 days on April Fool's Day. Today is Saturday, March 28th, 2026, and the launch coverage has already begun. And as it says in their article here, they are set to launch no earlier than 6:24 p.m. on Wednesday, April 1st, April Fool's Day, 2026. You don't want to be one of those fools. They're telling us they're going to go fly around the moon, pass the Van Allen belt, violate the gas law, violate the law of thermodynamics. This is all a show, okay? We've all seen the videos. NASA has been exposed. And have you guys seen the image of the route that they take when they going around the moon? They're laughing in our faces. You don't want to be one of the fools. And did you guys also hear? They want to build bases on the moon.
Finally, here at noon, NASA outlined a plan on Tuesday to build a permanent base on the moon. The agency says that it wants a sustained human presence there aimed at strengthening U.S. leadership in space. NASA says that the plan calls for more frequent missions, initially targeting landings every 6 months. The rollout would happen in phases, starting with robotic missions, then building infrastructure, and then later enabling long-term stays. NASA says that the first crewed moon missions since the 1970s are set to begin next year.
Right. We blew up all the technology, but now we're going back. We're going to build got to have military on the moon.
As much as the next guy, but this is ridiculous. NASA is planning to send people, quote unquote, back to the moon this Wednesday, which just happens to be April 1st or April Fool's Day. This reminds me of the time they were telling us they need to probe your anus because it was leaking toxic gases. Yeah, these are real headlines. I'm not making any of this up. Do you think they were saying this with a straight face? No chance. But let's get back to that Artemis moon mission, which is actually not going to land people on the moon. It's supposedly just going to do a flyby. So think about this, guys. Artemis was started in 2017, and in 9 years, they're just going to fly by the moon. Let's contrast that with the Apollo moon mission, which was started in 1961, and they supposedly got 2 men on the moon in 1969. A total of 8 years. So now by the earliest estimates from NASA, it's going to take till 2028 to get people back on the moon. 8 years in the 60s, versus 11 years today. Do you guys see a problem there?
Yep.
It seems like one big joke, and the joke is on us. What do you guys think?
It's the truth, you guys. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, for real. For real, real. For real, real. Thank you to the ones of you that are rowing in our boat. For my husband's medical bills, so we've got some appointments coming up with neurosurgery, and the free insurance is now done also in New Orleans. And now we both don't have medical insurance, but so what? How is detoxing going? Oh, it's painful. It's painful. I feel terrible. I'm think I'm okay right now. That's why I keep pushing through, because when I put myself out of my mental misery, like my physical body, I feel better. It's just human nature, right? Um, the deception is real. Okay. Again, folks, your salvation is Jesus. We talk about a lot of things on this channel, but I start my rabbit holes in my Bible and that in them there. It doesn't make any difference to my salvation what shape the earth is. None at all. I'm showing you this for a very particular reason. I think that they are trying to punch a hole and to literally enter into heavenly places alive, which is, you can't do that, right? You're not Elijah, right? You're not Jesus. You're not being taken up. I also think with the amount of satellites around the earth at this point, that blue beam could come into play at any moment. I think this whole alien invasion nonsense it's truly like mind blowing to me, because it gives people an out, not to have to deal with themselves spiritually. Don't fall for it. Do not fall for it. Because God created the heavens and the earth. All right. God did. So what they're doing is they're bringing forth demons. Now, you're never going to find in your Bible what created a demon. I used to always look because I was very interested. I noticed those little things like, fallen angels sleeping with human women and creating a race of giants. I noticed the Bible talks about that. When those giants die, one of the book of Enoch says, I think it's the first one, which there's a reason it's not in our Bible. It's not canon, but that's another video. It actually says that when those giants die, they don't have the same makeup as you and I. An angel is body and spirit. A human is made in the image of God with a body, a spirit, and a soul. So when you've got a 2 and a 3 and you make a baby, it's lacking something, right? And that is a soul. So that spirit that stays behind is a demon. So they are real. And they come from extremely dark places. I honestly think something is happening that we're just seeing bits and pieces of it, because we don't know what they're doing, right? I don't know. It's hard to put yourself in the position of evil and say, well, if I was going to do this, I would do it this way. We're never going to quite get it right, because we're still thinking with a saved heart. And it's hard to think that you would just sacrifice, 200,000 children. I mean, I hope all of you saw that archaeological dig they did recently in the country of Israel, where they found, was it 3,000 or 30,000 infants in a mass grave? Yeah, that's not normal. I'm just saying, you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I think now I'm going to throw my hair up in a bun. I'm going to go curl up. I slept on the floor by Steve last night. Um, he's still having to sleep on the couch until we can afford to get that double split bed we need for him. But I wanted to be close to him because I'm not feeling 100. And I sleep better knowing my husband's right close to me. So I threw a mattress on the floor and slept there. So it's still on the floor. I'm thinking I'm gonna go lay back on the floor and throw on a discovery or a documentary or something and just zone out for a bit, folks. Like I said, I'm just not feeling 100%. But it doesn't mean I get to dip out completely. Remember that, as part of slaying the flesh is just staying here and present. So still have to feed all the farm animals, still have to make sure they have proper water and food. I still have to get up, take care of bills. I still have to try to work. I mean, that's just adulting, right? And so I love you guys. I appreciate your prayers. Like, comment, subscribe. If you get your panties in a wad and throw a temper tantrum because I won't do the whole flat earth, then maybe my adult type content isn't for you. I'm just saying. Because in the scheme of things, it doesn't matter. So I love you guys so much. Be blessed. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for your time.